Environmental justice. A dear friend of mine, some dear friends of mine helped me sort of shape this question here, so I'm hoping it doesn't sound too disjointed because a lot of really great points were brought up. Personally, I wanted to sort of bring this a little bit back to reality. I want to take it a little bit down from sort of stump speech land a little bit, to make it a little bit more personal. Like he said, I have 2 children that I'm raising here. I'm raising them with an incinerator in my backyard. There's also a major interstate that has been a huge part of the gentrification of this neighborhood that rolls through as well. And so we're dealing with just residents in this community where a lot of us who are poor, we don't have the privilege of moving when we have lead, literally, we have lead in our air. The pollution that's and the toxins that are in our air are disproportionately more concentrated in the neighborhood that I live in. And so what you would also know and probably guess is that this neighborhood is full of people who are considered low income and people of color. There are a lot of immigrants that aren't necessarily black, but there are a lot of us there, and a lot of us here rather, because you're breathing it right now too, by the way. So there's a lot of us here, and it's sort of like what I appreciated that you mentioned about a lot of this clean economy stuff, because when we start talking about how are we going to take care of this, we're going to hire these huge corporations that are going to come in. They're going to come in with people who don't live in this neighborhood. Those people are going to get paid a lot of money to put in solar panels that can't go on my home, right? Because I can't afford that. I can't afford the subsidies that they offer. I can't afford any of this stuff. And I want to. I compost, I organic garden to try to save money, and I teach my children how to like not waste the water and those things, all these things, right? The face of environmental justice looks nothing like me, yet my neighborhood and people around my neighborhood come to me, and they come to people who look like me because they know that we know, right? So what I want to know, I love the way that you're breaking down things like what can the president actually do, right? Because you can't get rid of the Herc incinerator. We're fighting that battle. But what can you do on the federal level to support people like me and people like my friends out here so that when these corporations come in and they're getting paid that big bucks, how can we ensure that on the federal level that we're demanding that the companies, that these contracts that are going out, right, that they don't completely disclude us with all these ridiculous licensing things and all these things that they shut us out of, things that cost money, right? Small businesses like me that we don't have, and ways that we can get these funds without them being in the form of more debt. So these micro loans that they're offering my business, they're, excuse my language, bullshit. I'm too poor to take these loans on. What other solutions do we have? Like reparations should not be in the form of debt. That's not reparations. That's keeping us systematically oppressed. So on the federal level, how can you ensure that these funds that come to these clean economy that's going to clean up what's going on in this freeway, getting rid of this incinerator and that northern metals over here, out of our neighborhoods, or at the very least putting the incinerators in Edina in these more affluent neighborhoods instead of sending it to mine? Where they can burn it there. I mean, if everybody thinks it's a great idea, burn your own garbage in your own yard, right? So on the federal level, how can you help support us on this local level where, you know, we're putting a pressure on our local officials, but how can you also hold them accountable from that seat?
So let me just tell you that I got started in all this with shutting down incinerators in low-income and communities of color. That's where I learned about political struggle. In Lawrence, Massachusetts, which is a poor and immigrant city, one of the poorest in the Northeast. So it had a cluster of incinerators, which is usually the way it works, you know, that all these polluting facilities are located together in low-income communities that don't, you know, where they take advantage of the community. And, you know, and just pile on one toxic facility after another. And we actually did succeed in shutting several of them down. The most polluting medical waste incinerators we did close down, and we were able to actually get a moratorium in the state to prevent the development of any new incinerators. So I just want you to know how much I feel for your struggle and really support your struggle. If we had a government that was on our side, the Environmental Protection Agency would be protecting us as the most important part of that environment. That means no incinerators, no polluting coal plants, no foul extraction facilities. If we had an EPA that was really protecting public health and the environment, there would be none of these facilities being built, and we would be shutting down the ones that we have. So I am very much on your side to create that kind of a government that is accountable to us. We should not have incinerators. We should not have landfills, for that matter, either. We should have a vibrant recycling industry and products that are designed for reuse and recycling. So we need to do this for our environment, we need to do this for our water, we need to do this for our air and our land. It's a different kind of concept about what our material products are about, and they can be sustainable and healthy, and that's what we want to move towards. On this question about greening our energy, I want to just assure you that the Green New Deal provides national funding to local communities in order to support local small businesses, cooperatives, and nonprofits, and small entrepreneurs. What it does not fund are large corporations. They are not eligible. You need to be part of the local community because that's where money recirculates and creates a vibrant economy. We are being devoured by the corporate economy. So the Green New Deal moves our funding into communities, and it also gives communities the power to decide what you need to become sustainable. So it's not a cookie cutter from Washington, D.C. that tells you what has to be done. It provides certain guidelines that these need to be small and local, that we need to promote 100% clean renewable energy, and that means weatherizing our homes and our businesses, as well as factory jobs producing the stuff, installing it, and it also means creating community gardens. The point I'm making is that you don't need a PhD in order to get these jobs. These are also jobs that restore our ecosystems, that clean up our rivers and our streams and our wetlands and our forests, so that there are jobs here for everyone, and that the communities are in charge. So if your key issue and your key need is affordable housing, that's what you fund with the Green New Deal. You create affordable housing that you need according to the community's design, not some big developer who swoops in and builds housing for maximum profit. But the same applies to how we create then small businesses that become the backbone of the new green economy. Thank you.